Welcome to the 2014 SEAL Decision Day. I want to thank you all for joining us today. This is one of the first times a demo day from a startup accelerator has not only done a live streaming demo day, but also incorporated engagement with the active folks watching. So I'll go into that more later. First, I want to talk about what SEAL is and why you're here. You're going to hear from 11 academic entrepreneurs today. They're all doing really amazing things. I'm sure you'll agree with me later. If you're planning on tweeting, our hashtag is ATIOnAir, and you'll see it on a bunch of our slides. So what is Austin Technology Incubator, or ATI? We are the Startup Business Accelerator Incubator for the University of Texas at Austin. At Austin, we have a lot of entrepreneurial activity. At ATI, not all of our member companies are part of the university. They come to us because we provide a suite of services that young, innovative individuals technically and usually don't have access to. That being professional services surrounding their legal, financial, and business strategy. Of the few companies that are actually admitted into ATI, we've had a very good success rate over the past 25 years. This stat here is just about the last 5 years. So the 80 companies admitted in the last 5 years have raised over $350 million. That is 85% of those companies that have added to that stat. We couldn't have done any of that without our sponsors. I specifically would like to thank Austin Energy, Founder.org, IBM, and National Grid. So what is the ATI development portfolio where the SEAL program stems from? We are the business incubator for the University of Texas at Austin. We help provide startup services to anybody on campus. We do this in partnership with two special organizations. The first one is the UT Horizon Fund. That is the strategic venture arm from the University of Texas system. They provide funding to academic entrepreneurs that are spinning technology out of universities. And Founder.org is a pilot organization that is doing amazing things for student entrepreneurs at a dozen institutions in the US and a dozen more in the European Union. We are honored to be part of their school partnerships. The SEAL program is a 3-month-long program that allows student entrepreneurs to maximize the ATI resources. There are hundreds of ventures started every year in academia, and at UT, there were more than 150. 12 of those were invited into SEAL this year. They've collected all sorts of accolades and spun their technology out of research labs. But what makes this program different from others is the fact that we really surround our startups with mentors. And the reason we're putting SEAL online this year is to engage and activate the global community that the University of Texas at Austin can encompass. Throughout this 3-month period, we have gained access to global connections, and we used Hangouts for strategy sessions. That way we could get industry experts from around the world to team up and come to the help of these startups. So today, we're using another virtual community. You can be watching from your couch. You can use your comments, ask your questions, and engage right from your own home. So what happens today? Today is decision day. It's not only a demo day, it is the ability for these student entrepreneurs to say whether they're going to go ahead with their startups or they're going to say no go, not right now. That doesn't mean they're giving up on their ideas. It means they likely haven't found a product market fit right now. So how it works, each student entrepreneur will present for 7 minutes. Then I'm asking you to engage. After they present, you will be invited to join a one-on-one, well actually, it's a multi-person hangout with each entrepreneur. If you have questions, comments, or referrals for that team, be sure to go into that hangout and have a conversation with them. And lastly, we're going to archive all of this information. Here's the run of show. We have 2 biotech startups, 3 clean energy, and a mix from IT, including software, hardware, and other types of software companies. I really want to thank you for tuning in today, and I hope you do take up our challenge to engage with the entrepreneurs today. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. We are Accordion Health. My name is Sriram Vishwanath. I'm a professor at the University of Texas at Austin and a co-founder of this team. Before I begin, I want to give a big thank you to the SEAL program. Over summer, we started off as a B2C company and eventually pivoted to a B2B company, and the new focus on the healthcare ecosystem is a big thanks to them. Thank you very much. To tell you about our vision, we are a targeted guidance company in healthcare using predictive analytics. We use tools from data mining, machine learning, and sophisticated algorithms to build a targeted guidance tool. What does that mean? It means we help people like you, understand healthcare costs, understand what it is now and what it will be. And the way we do it is we work with the ecosystem. We work with care planners and caregivers, with employers, and more importantly, with insurance payers, ultimately, who can help us build such a system in a way that can be delivered to the consumer to produce the maximum transparency in healthcare. How do we do this? It's an amazing team. We have a physician who's our chief medical officer, working together with two technical co-founders, Joyce Ho and Yuvan Park, who are PhDs or to be PhDs in data science and machine learning. Together with me, I'm also the Faculty Entrepreneur of the Year, 2014. We have a combined decade-long experience in healthcare data analytics. This is particular to healthcare data. We understand healthcare data, which is what makes this possible. So what are we doing? We are trying to address the severe impact both at the macro level, nationwide, as well as the individual level that healthcare costs has. 60% of bankruptcies in this country are due to medical bills. 25 million people hesitate to take medications in this country because of costs. And over 40% report problems paying the medical bills. This is a problem for every individual, and it impacts our society, impacts the economy in a drastic manner. And the brunt of this burden is faced by those who take on the risk. Who are they? Employers and payers. Employers, big employers that are self-insured, like Chevron and Starbucks, take on a substantial portion of this risk. And so do payers like Blue Cross Blue Shield and Humana. So what do? We provide actionable insights. We provide data analysis-based insights. To give you an example, some examples of such insights, for example, knee replacement, just in the state of Texas, geographically varies between 50 and 500K. This is a massive scale of change for the same procedure. Rural hospitals are 4 to 8 times more expensive than urban ones. This is, again, lack of competition, lack of transparency. This is not just geographic. It can also give you temporal, time-based insights. For example, in the past 10 years, spinal fusion has more than doubled in costs for the same output. These are the type of insights we can provide the ecosystem to help them make better decisions. So let's take a case study, for example, knee replacement. Increasingly common procedure. 600,000 cases of knee replacement were performed annually as recently as 2011. And if you look at the graph on the right-hand side, it shows that a lot of younger populations are going through knee replacement. Ages 45 to 64 have 200% increase in knee replacement over recent years. So what does this mean? This means we can sit down and understand knee replacement in terms of where the costs come from. For example, this graph shows you that it's been steadily increasing. In fact, it's increased drastically over the past few years. And a dominant source of this cost is device costs. The other costs, which is operating room, miscellaneous, do contribute, but are not as significant in increase as device costs. What can we say further than this? We can go deeper than this, and we can uncover potential cost savings. It turns out that high-end devices, the more expensive devices, have increased in frequency in use, while lower-end traditional devices have reduced in frequency of use. And this trend has caused this cost increase. However, it turns out from a medical efficacy perspective, high-end devices are just as good as traditional devices. Therefore, by providing such insights, we can point out that in terms of efficacy, in terms of long-term care, what procedures, what costs can be controlled, can be mitigated, and how overall savings can be obtained. In addition to just one episode, which is knee surgery, we can look at forecasting long-term post-surgery events. This, again, we do with our data mining machine learning tools, which really showcase what happens post-knee replacement. Here we show 5 pathways and 4 associated costs. In this insight, what we want to point out is it's not just the single episode that matters, but what really matters is the entire care process. One episode can lead to multiple other future visits, multiple other post-surgery events, which can lead to further costs, further issues, and overall care. How do we do all of this? Using our existing technologies. We have innovative and scalable algorithms in data mining and machine learning, which have a great degree of sophistication associated with healthcare data. We also use very scalable and innovative architecture to provide real-time output from our database. We have over 200 million claims in our database, and which come from 12 plus different data sets. We've integrated this and really provided a deep technical IP-based solution. What is the timeline? Ultimately, we want to provide a turnkey CRM tool to payers, to insurance payers, and in this process, make patient engagement and cost-benefit analysis much clearer to customers of payers. But in the process of doing so, we plan to scale nationally first by working with employers. We want to provide the same insights nationally to employers on large employers, medium employers nationwide. But before we do that, for a beta platform, we plan to test with a bunch of local, or the set of local businesses here in Texas. Starting with that, with the insights they provide, we plan to scale nationally and then go provide a CRM tool to payers. To do so, we are looking for $250,000 in seed, an introduction to people in the ecosystem, particularly payers and self-insured employers. Thank you. We are Accordion Health, and I'm open to questions.
And hello, my name is Matt Herpin. I'm representing Spindrift Therapeutics. We're a revolutionary ocular drug delivery technology. The aim of our company is we're focusing on trying to provide innovative solutions for many of the problems in ocular drug delivery. Specifically, we want to try to make the eye drop foolproof. Like I said, my name is Matthew Herpin. I'm a graduate of UT Austin from 2005. I'm the inventor of the technology. After I graduated college, I spent 2 years working in pharma doing analytical chemistry, aerosol science, and analytical chemistry. I then went on to work for a small company doing startup formulations and R&D. I'm currently in graduate school, expected to graduate with a PhD in pharmaceutics in 2014. My advisor here is Hugh Smythe. He's a professor of pharmaceutics at UT Austin. Has over 60 publications in the field of pharmaceutics and aerosol science. So one of the major problems with ocular drug delivery is actually administering eye drops. As you can see on this slide, there are many different problems. Many patients suffer from either improper alignment, they have a massive blink reflex, perhaps if you get the eye drop in, there's overflow or spillage. And some patients also suffer from, or also have trouble getting preventing the eye drop bottle from touching the eye, so there's contamination. And elderly patients specifically deal with general coordination problems. And the global market for ophthalmology is really big. It's about $21 billion, and we expect this to grow because of the aging population. This aging population is particularly susceptible to age-related diseases such as glaucoma or age-related macular degeneration. Beyond the general applications for ophthalmic drug delivery, there are some specific niche applications we have found, specifically for pediatrics or neonates. Geriatrics, or individuals who are physically or visually impaired, may have a specific need for this device. So what do? Our novel approach is to use a toroidal vortex. These are also known as smoke rings. Toroidal vortex is a circulating aerosol cloud. We utilize this phenomenon to entrain drugs and deposit them on the surface of the eye. This allows for accurate and precise delivery to the surface. Eventually, this will translate to enhanced efficacy and safety. Not only is the plume comfortable, it's also very simple, and we expect this to really help with patient compliance. In addition to being comfortable and simple, it's also a very tunable aerosol delivery system. This makes it scalable to many different markets and other different therapeutic indications. Before the SEAL program, we had just filed 2 U.S. and international patents. We worked on a works-like laboratory prototype to do some in vitro testing to prepare to do some preclinical stuff. We prepared a concept commercial device, as you can see here. This is what we're trying to build. The major questions we had during the SEAL program were all around commercial viability, mainly the regulatory pathways, the market validation, and funding strategy. During the SEAL program, we identified a really efficient regulatory pathway known as the 505(b)(2). This has a really short duration and relatively low cost. We also interviewed many doctors and determined the 4 different strategic drug markets to approach with this technology. We also identified and found the key costs of developing developmental milestones with our technology. And throughout the course of the summer, we also filed an additional patent and completed the preclinical prototype. So we're planning on moving forward. Spindrift's looking for regulatory advisors, specifically advisors that have expertise in the 505(b)(2) regulatory pathway that deal with combination drug products or early phase clinical trials. We're also looking for marketing and development specialists to help us reach out to doctors and pharma. And we're also looking for seed funding, specifically to get through phase 1 proof of concept and to do our safety studies. With that, that's the end of my presentation. I look forward to answering your questions in the virtual Q&A.
Off mute.
I've always wanted to do something big. This became apparent as an officer in Army Special Operations, where I saw the world. I saw people living in horrid, filthy conditions, living inside of and around landfills. I saw the rampant crime and regional instability that was driven by the world's energy demands. And I thought, there's got to be a better way. So I came home with a renewed purpose to do that something big. And it took a lot of thought. It took me a couple years, and I found a way that would make places less horrid, less filthy, and more stable. A way that would take what most see as plastic waste, and I see an energy source and clean living conditions. We at Bluefield Group see plastic waste as oil. We strike oil 100% of the time. Prior to coming to ATI, we were an academic success. We did very well in business plan competitions, focused on waste to energy and the trash epidemic, as well as saving the world. So we came to ATI and we learned a couple of things right off the bat. One, everyone else is also trying to save the world, so we were not unique. And that even though we had a successful business, we didn't have a real business plan and business model. We had to learn to shift from the trash epidemic to making oil. Saving the world is still a noble cause, and thankfully, it's a byproduct of our business, because our business is to make oil. So let's talk about what and who we are today. To give some context on our business, we must first understand the oil industry, specifically oil fields. As we know, oil fields are just geographic areas of land that pump out oil. One of the most productive here in Texas is the Eagle Ford Shale. That's the one that we used as a reference for comparison. So in starting up an oil well, multiple wells are often needed to strike and produce oil. This means that your costs to have a well can be up to $26 million. And the cost of a single barrel of oil to be produced here in Texas is about $80. We offer something a little bit different. We simply take plastic and return it back to its original state, oil. Our facility has a fixed cost of $12.5 million. And as soon as you fire it up, we're striking oil. Also, our oil price is fixed. Therefore, it greatly reduces risk. It's a benefit to the oil business because when you're competing in a volatile market with price fluctuations, ours is fixed. Another benefit to our business is that over time, oil wells often degrade in productivity. Ours will only continually increase. We're an oil company that's just going to grow. The way we accomplish this is by using an improved pyrolysis process. You simply take plastic in on one end, run it through a reactor. On the other end, you get an oil that's equivalent to crude. The real question is there enough plastic to successfully augment the oil production supply in the United States? Fast answer is yes, there is. With 32 million tons available and it's spread widely all over the country, we can successfully augment the oil industry. Now, to drill down a little bit, we'll look at Texas. Not just because it's my favorite state, or our home state, or where we're headquartered, but it's also where our first facility is located. Here we have access to nearly 1 million tons of plastic waste per year. That's 2,600 tons per day. That's $1 million of revenue per day. Or to drill down and put it a little bit differently, it's 9,000 barrels of oil per day for $345 million of revenue per year. So in order to build this business, I needed a unique team. I needed several skills and specialties that aren't commonly found in the industry. You've already heard about me. I'd like to showcase my key team members. Teresa has been in the oil and energy industry for 15 years. She knows this domain. It's hers. She owns it. Scott, he's our engineer. He knows the chemistry side of things. Vicki knows our startup and business process development. Eileen is our expert in accounting and finance, and she has a past track record of large corporate finance. And finally, Chris, he's our logistics expert. Now, why might we need a logistics expert? That is probably the most necessary part of our business plan. So with this team, our business model, and our understanding of the industry, we are a go. We have a highly profitable business that has a much lower risk. We can make a positive impact on Texas. We can make a positive impact on the United States. Plus, this is a business that can go overseas and help stabilize those regions plagued by instability. We look forward to your questions in the upcoming Q&A session. And I wanted to mention that ATI has been an awesome experience. We've learned a lot, and we look forward to being able to give back in the future. I am Chris. We are the Bluefield Group, and we strike oil 100% of the time.
Hello everybody, my name is Darla Hollander, and I'm the CEO of Everywhere Energy. Everywhere Energy was founded on the idea that energy that you exert yourself can be used to power your devices. Our world runs on energy. Everywhere we look, our devices consume energy. We use our phones to text, make calls, conduct business, and socially stay in the loop. And in America and other developed countries, it's considered a social right to have your power and a complementary convenience. But the story is a little different in India. Their power is a limited resource and is considered a privilege. In fact, 75% of Indians have access to electricity, but that electricity is not always reliable. This is the current power infrastructure in India. It is loaded. In fact, the power generated in India is not even enough to feed the people of India. So what they do is they have rolling blackouts. So for a couple hours a day, power will be shifted from homes and moved to farms because India has an agricultural-based economy. So most Indians live in the rural areas and lack electricity. In urban areas, 30% of people live there. 92% of them have power, and they're out of power for about 2 to 4 hours a day, relatively manageable but inconvenient. In rural areas, 70% of people live there, 55% have access to electricity, and according to interviews that we've done, it has been known that people can be out of power for about 20 hours. Cell phones are really big in India. 10% of people have computers, but 60% have cell phones, and that number is growing so much. In fact, in the last year, the number of people that have cell phones has grown over 400%. People need power to charge their phones because phones are critical. People use phones to communicate with their families, to conduct business, to do mobile banking, and to help with their health. In fact, mobile banking is on the rise. In the past 10 months, mobile banking transactions have increased 650%. This is a very growing market. So young, tech-savvy, affluent people in urban areas of India have found a solution, and they pay about $75 US for external battery packs. Now, as an electrical engineer, I can tell you, the problem with external battery packs is that you still have to plug them into the wall. And if you don't have wall power, then how will you ever charge them? The Indian government's also getting involved. This is one of the things that the Indian government is doing. They have started to install outlets in buses and trains, but if I'm getting on this train, I know that I will not be able to find an outlet, and I will not be able to charge my phone. So Everywhere Energy has another solution. We're harnessing power that comes from us. We produce kinetic energy as we interact with our world. Our first product is called EverSoul, and it's an external battery pack that is charged when you walk. People take about 10,000 steps per day. This is a gel shoe insert that you put into your shoe in the morning, and it fits all shoe types. It takes the vertical pressure and converts it to electrical energy, and it uses a flat, soft polymer for generation. And once you're ready to charge your phone, you just take it from the side of your shoe and plug it in via USB. People in India walk a lot. It's part of their lifestyles. So they may walk over 10,000 steps. But after a full day of walking of about 10,000 steps, our first milestone says that we will be able to charge our phone 20%. So you may be wondering, what's the value that we can bring to India if we actually do this? We hypothesize that we can increase mobile financial service usage, which is already on the rise. Then, once we do this, we believe that financial service institutions will partner with us and help us to create the right product at the right price point. Now for the wonderful SEAL. Before SEAL, we had an unfocused market. We were thinking developed countries and developing countries. We were thinking traveling business people. We were unfocused. We lacked legal understanding. But during SEAL, we selected a market. We incorporated. We conversed with patent attorneys, and we conversed with potential investors. Next, we're planning on narrowing our target market within India, filing a patent, and we're also planning on accomplishing our new technology milestone. We are asking you for help understanding business culture in India, and we're asking for connections to material scientists to increase the efficiency of our products. If you would like to help us, you'll be working with my hardworking team, including myself and 3 other engineers, Melinda, Rory, and Chris, and we also have a CMO, Jane, who's here today. and Caesar, who's our creative director. And we have a board of directors member, Bill Leisure, who acts as our advisor. With Everywhere Energy, you can be your own battery. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Chuy Ayala, CEO of Plasmatronics, and we are commercializing the first small-scale mobile waste-to-energy system that converts waste to usable energy to tackle two of the most pressing problems. So we all know that waste, the huge waste issues that the world has, everything from handling toxic waste to ocean dumping to incineration affects every single human in the planet. Then there's energy. Developed countries like the United States have been witnessing exponential rise in energy costs, while developing countries have a lack of energy. India, for example, have about 300 million people without energy. And how are they dealing with this? By burning it. Burning trash creates energy inefficiently, and it also creates air pollution. Newer solutions like DC plasma gasification is designed for large-scale plants due to its large power supplies and costs hundreds of millions of dollars to even implement, making it very inefficient to go straight to the source. So what are we doing different? We're actually going straight to the source. We use AC plasma in order to destroy every single type of waste, except for nuclear waste, at 10,000 degrees Fahrenheit. At these temperatures, garbage doesn't stand a chance. Instead of incinerating or burning, it doesn't do any of that. It actually is called molecular dissociation, which breaks the molecule bonds apart to its atomic structure. For example, cyanide, you would get carbon and nitrogen. So because of this, we could create a clean synthetic gas that could power generators to create electricity or be stored in fuel cells. Our AC plasma design also doesn't need large power supplies, or there's no inefficiencies when it comes to turning AC to DC. This allows us to go small scale, mobile, and stay at a high efficiency. During our market validation, we looked at many different industries, starting from the international industries. We already discussed that India has a lot of issues when it comes to energy shortages, but islands actually don't have enough space for landfill, so they have to ship it out. The medical industry handles a lot of hazardous waste, and we also learned that there are diseases such as the mad cow disease that could survive extreme temperatures over 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit. Our system could also be used to destroy those type of diseases. Then there's the hospitality industry. We spoke to the head of facilities at Caesars Entertainment, and there are increasing regulations on the amount of solid waste going to landfills, and they have budgeted around $70 million to fix this waste and energy issues that they have. The U.S. military, we decided, will be our target market, and the reason is that in forward operating bases outside of the United States, they waste around $400 a gallon of gasoline, according to the Pentagon. And the reason is that either has to be drop shipped by air or it has to be transported through hostile territories, which is an easy target for the enemy to attack. Because of this, 1 in 8 deaths are attributed to fuel convoy attacks. And because of this, the Army has been researching and looking for new solutions. And a recent Army document says that they're looking for a system that can process 2 to 3 tons of waste a day and have an output energy, a positive output of energy, and they're willing to pay over $1 million for this. Before the ATI program, a colleague of mine and I actually started our Masters in Technology Commercialization, which is a program specifically designed to launch new and innovative technologies. During this time, we did our initial market validation. We created a business plan, a launch plan, and a marketing plan. We also participated in the Texas Venture Labs Business Plan Investment Competition, in which we won first runner-up. During the SEAL program, we were able to speak to many industry experts. We were able to have new mentors, and we were able to look at what the investor and market interest was. We were able to receive seed funding in order to build a prototype, which you can see on the screen, and also redesign our product for manufacturing. Because of this, we decided that this is going to be a go. We are still looking for testing partners that will help us test the synthetic gas coming out of it. Someone like the Southwest Research Institute would be a good candidate to actually test. We're also looking for potentially funding a pilot plant that and also pilot partners, pilot customers that could run this 24/7 just to see the actual test on a long-term run. Our management team is a very efficient and dynamic team. We have experience in finance, business operations, rapid prototyping, engineering, and one of our team members also owns manufacturing plants in India. And we're also very lucky to have very knowledgeable mentors, such as Mitch Jacobson, Dr. Violina Rindova, and Dr. Gary Cadenhead. And together we plan to bring a product to the market that has the ability to save lives and build a self-sustainable future. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Ali Mavrakis. I'm the CEO of BaseDrive, and with the help of my fellow students for the past year and a half, we've been working on an innovative way to back up the cloud. About a year and a half ago, we were accepted into the Longhorn Startup Labs program at the University of Texas, where we were introduced to a number of brilliant mentors who gave us some great advice about taking an idea that we had for a product and really bringing it to market. As young and excitable engineers, we spent a lot of time building, and if you're familiar at all with the lean startup methodology, this is an iterative process. Instead of spending all of your time building, you should be going out and building and then measuring what you've built and learning from those results. But like I said, we were young, and we built a product called Base Drive Server, which takes all of the data you have out in the cloud on your favorite services like Dropbox or Google Drive and backs them up to a single device. And we actually went out and found a first customer for our product who was really interested in what we were doing. And when I met with him, he told me if Box goes down for just an hour, it costs firms like mine thousands of dollars. And the liability associated with could reach 9 or 10 figures. And small businesses aren't the only ones experiencing problems like this. And enterprises have built solutions to solve the problem of lack of access to their data. In fact, by 2017, Gartner estimates that half of large enterprises will have hybrid cloud solutions. But what about the rest of us? Small businesses that exist today, and there are thousands and millions that are unable to have the technical expertise that's required to implement a solution like this. And even if they have the technical expertise, they don't have the physical infrastructure or the resources to allocate towards getting the physical infrastructure. And without that talent in-house and the capability of building systems like this, for a company that's less than 30 people, for example, it's very, very difficult to make sure that when they need their data the most, they have it. And so what we did with the SEAL program is we decided to take a step back and spend more time measuring and learning about the process of building our company and exactly what our market needed before we moved forward with more building. And this was all predicated on the hypothesis that small businesses need local copies of their data. And we sought to validate this hypothesis using 2 methods. The first is we wanted to conduct secondary research through well-renowned research organizations. And second, we wanted to submit a survey and actually get some research of our own. And the data that we found was actually quite staggering. In fact, Tata Consultancy Service estimates that in 2011, about 19% of corporate applications were hosted in the cloud. But by 2014, that number had risen to 34%, representing a 16% compound annual growth rate. And for small businesses, the number's even higher. In fact, a Spiceworks survey estimates that about 61% of small businesses have implemented or use at least one cloud solution. And so now that businesses are clearly moving towards the cloud, especially these small businesses, the cost of not having access to those services is larger than ever before. In fact, an Information Week article estimates that the downtime cost in 2013 was $26.5 billion to the economy just from lost revenue. And that number's only grown. In fact, from 2010 to today, that number has grown by 53%. But for an individual business, the costs can be detrimental, if not completely damaging to their business. The average small business loses $5,600 per hour in revenue every time they don't have access to their service. And small businesses frequently experience downtime. In fact, some estimates put it as high as 87 hours per year, representing hundreds of thousands of dollars towards a business that they lose in revenue every year because they don't have access to their cloud services. So, in order to validate the research that we had found that existed already, we conducted a survey and sent it out to 150 different people, and we had a response rate of about 56%, with 83 respondents primarily located in the United States and Texas. And what we found is that the #1 problem that businesses experienced was that business disruptions from data inaccessibility, i.e., we sent out a survey, and after speaking with all of these people, they told us that the #1 problem they experience is that if one of their services goes down, they can't do their work. And the interesting fact for us was that respondents were actually agnostic to the physical storage location. They didn't care if it was in the cloud or if it was stored on premise. They just wanted access to their data when they needed it most in order to conduct their daily business. And so taking all of this data together and trying to compile it into a single notion of what our business should do through the SEAL program, we were able to come up with a final decision for our company, which is to go forward and build a cloud-to-cloud backup solution for small businesses. And this is because our respondents were clearly were agnostic to the idea of whether their data should be backed up in the cloud or on-premise. In fact, 85% of the respondents said so. And in addition, what this means is that we can have a more scalable model for our business, as well as a model that can deliver a more efficient and cost-effective solution to our customers. But what about competitors that exist today? Well, there are three primary competitors who are directly operating in a similar space, but they're primarily focused on the enterprise space. Base Drive, at the top, focused on Box, NetDocs, and Dropbox right now, has given us the opportunity to focus in on small businesses who are currently underserved. And that segment of the market is the one that's growing faster even than the enterprise segment. And so we think we're positioned in a really great spot right now to move forward with our project. And we have a roadmap that's going to dictate how we move forward. In November of 2014, we plan to launch a private data backing up the three services I mentioned just before. In January of 15, we will be moving forward with a public beta backing up the data, as well as providing a universal search function for all of the services you have connected. And finally, is that we're going to seed the market with a public launch on in May of 2015 with those exact same features, and including the Google Drive application. And so, my name is Ali Mavrakis. I encourage you to follow me to the question and answer session, and we back up your cloud. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Lorna, and I'm the founder and CEO of Edmosphere. Edmosphere is an education technology product that measures school climate in real time. It allows kids to virtually raise their hand and ask for help. The idea for Edmosphere came to me after working for 14 years directing college access and dropout prevention programs. Our programs produced unusually high results, and the U.S. Department of Education contacted me and 8 other peers across the nation and asked how we got so many kids to graduate and so many kids to go to college. Without even knowing each other, we all had the same answer. We paid attention to how kids experience school. That concept is called school climate. And school climate is important because no matter how smart a kid is, no matter how much potential they have, if they don't feel safe, if they don't feel they belong, and if they don't feel that school is an inviting place for them, they're not going to achieve. The research supports this. When kids feel that school is a positive place, they attend school more, they achieve more, and there are lower incidents of bullying and violence. Teachers also stay in the field longer. All of this translates to more funding for schools. Currently, school climate is measured using paper and pencil surveys. The examples that you see here are pages of surveys that are currently used, and there are more than 72 questions on these surveys. They're administered once a year and usually to just a random sampling of students. The results are sent to schools weeks, sometimes months later, and they look like this, pages and pages of data. How does that help Johnny, who needs help in school today? And how does that help his teacher? It doesn't. Edmosphere is a new way of measuring school climate. We have a web-based, real-time survey that asks just 10 questions, and those 10 questions are based on school climate research. It's kid-friendly, it's quick, and relevant. In real time, teachers can know right now which groups of kids and which individual kids need intervention. We had some traction before starting SEAL. We validated the market, we built and tested our prototype, and we learned and refined our product. From there, we piloted our beta in 4 schools with over 600 students. And we made our first sale. With SEAL, we expanded our advisory board. We filed a non-provisional patent application because we found that we're the only ones who are measuring school climate in this way. We also learned more about the ed tech ecosystem. With our SEAL mentor, we learned all about the sales cycle in schools and nuances for doing sales in schools. We also segmented the market. Even though we know Edmosphere will be effective at all school levels, we're targeting middle school because that's when kids go from having one teacher to many teachers, and that can make school really daunting. And we conducted an efficacy study. The school that used Edmosphere the longest gave us really great feedback. They said in the first month, bullying was 80%. In-school suspensions were reduced by 50%. We expanded the research, and we found that statistically significant, 3 out of 10 of our questions predict attendance. 7 out of 10 of our questions predict math achievement, and everything is tied to math. When kids do well in math, they graduate from high school, they go to college, and they graduate from college, no matter what their major is. This is real data. This is actionable data that positions schools to be proactive, to make sure that kids attend school and do well academically before any of the negatives happen. We also noticed that the numbers of students withdrawing for school was reduced to 0 when the school was using Edmosphere. Now, we believe that Edmosphere is the reason why that gain happened. But in order to find out for sure, we need to do a randomized control study. And so moving forward, our first priority is to conduct a randomized control study. So we can say definitively that when a school uses Edmosphere, That in itself improves the climate for students. We're also ready to bring on a CMO who's going to focus on a sales and marketing strategy for Texas and for the nation. We're going to streamline our sales process, and we're going to bring on a client services director when that time comes. We have an outstanding team. Raul Calvos is our COO. He has over 10 years of experience as a lawyer and businessman, and Ivan Morales has over 12 years of experience as a web developer. We're really thankful for our advisory board that we just expanded. We've got 2 professors on our advisory board that specialize in student achievement and school climate. We also have a superintendent and a principal who've brought technology onto their campuses and into their districts. We have a school law attorney who is making sure that we are FERPA compliant. And we're really thrilled that our SEAL mentor is staying on as part of our advisory board. And Andrew Vreek has years of experience in the ed tech field. So after our experience with SEAL this summer, we decided, based on our strong team, based on the traction that we've had, and based on the strong results that we've seen, we must continue to build atmosphere and to make sure that schools are safe and a positive place for all students to learn.
Good evening. My name is Will Mitchell, and I'm here to talk to you about Homenity. Before I get started, I want to take a second to thank ATI, and specifically Lydia, Andrew, Bart, and Jason for their help over the summer and everything that we were able to accomplish. So before I get started about Homenity, I'll talk a little bit about myself. I've got a background in architecture and structural engineering, and spent several years in the Washington, D.C. area renovating homes, doing professional construction management, and getting a Class B contractor's license. During this time, I renovated approximately 500 homes and found that homeowners had a lot of troubles with home renovation projects. Even as an experienced contractor, still struggled getting bids from contractors and managing the process. So what I tried to do when creating Homenity was to look at the risk in the transaction, the risk between the owner and the contractor, as well as simply between the idea and the finished product. So between the owner and the contractor, there's a lot of distrust. There's a lack of information, and there's also a problem with communication that frequently causes frustration and difficulty in the home renovations. Additionally, from the time that the project starts to the time that it's completed, homeowners change things, unforeseen conditions come up, and contractors have trouble educating the homeowners throughout this process. This all causes a bunch of risk. And so what we were hoping to do with Homenity is find a way to remove risk from renovation. So in order to start, we looked at the market and tried to establish, was there a niche that we could go after that was big enough that we could provide some assistance, but also not being covered by the current market. So we looked at small projects that could not require a designer, but also were able to easily walk through permits in their local jurisdictions. So we focused on kitchens, bathrooms, flooring, and painting as the 4 projects, which account for about 40% of the $232 billion of annual construction spend. And we thought that's a sizable enough market to go after. So in coming into ATI, we wanted to confirm that these risks actually existed. Talking to homeowners about the contracting risk, ensuring that there was a concern when they're signing on the dotted line that the project actually included what they were trying to accomplish, or if there was still mistrust and miscommunication before the project ever began. And then when the change occurred throughout the project, the change risk as we call it here. So whether or not it's an unforeseen condition of mold or other things that come up throughout the project, we really hoped that we could provide some services, and homeowners said this was also an issue. Just the simple difference between putting the tile straight or diagonal can cause a huge cost implication, and really educating the homeowner and making sure that's detailed up front is important to the construction project. Lastly, the contractor risk. The contractors bid on several projects. They make mistakes. They have trouble educating homeowners. And so there's risks on both sides of this marketplace that we hope to help. So where we started was a simple budgeting tool, allowing homeowners to go to our site and give them a detailed, transparent budget for their project before it even began. You came with a selection of a photo first, and then picked the layout of your project, told us what items you wanted to replace, and we gave you a price. Just as simple as that. So you understood what the actual details are of what you wanted to do. You could think through the different aspects that caused cost, and then we can show you what the relevant costs were associated with those. And we believed that by providing this detailed budget up front, we could provide additional services. Because we believed in this number, we believe that homeowners will want to source contractors. And so we've executed a partnership agreement with Home Advisor to provide lead generation for them. But more importantly, want to move forward by providing the ability to manage transactions through third-party construction services, and also provide financing and insurance products that'll help mitigate this risk in the project. And so simply like mold remediation, it can cause a huge cost of the project. And if we can go to you and tell you before your project starts that there's 10% of the bathrooms in your neighborhood have had mold problems in the past, and it's the average cost for that mold is about $1,500, we could offer an insurance product of $200 before the project even started that would really help you remove risk from your home renovation project and allow us to provide a product that's not currently available on the market. So it's really these last 3 things that differentiate us from our competitors. This is a competitive space. Lots of people are working and raising money in the home renovation market right now, but they're only focusing on getting you to a contractor and maybe getting a budget up front. Nobody's helping you once that contract is signed. They are really lead gen models, and we're really trying to differentiate that. We've found that 92% of homeowners report frustration with their home renovation projects, but only 22% of those frustrations are finding a contractor. The other 70% is in contractors going over time, over cost, not showing up. We want to help with that 70%, and that's where we're differentiating ourselves. So right now, we're looking for some help. Need some developers. We've built our MVP and hoping for assistance to build out the contractor transaction model. We're also looking to cut through all that competition with some help in digital consumer marketing and building out this marketplace. As I've said, we've got the contractors kind of set up through the home advisor agreement, but any experience in that would be greatly appreciated. And lastly, partnerships. We've spoken to Build.com about getting onto their homepage, and other companies in the industry that we could be able to generate customers from would be of great help. So, in closing, really want to thank you for taking the time to listen to us. Homenity is really trying to simplify renovations, and right now we're looking for investors and developers and the stuff I mentioned on the last slide. So thank you very much for your time, and let's go change the world. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Brad Lawler, and I am a recovering financial advisor. I worked with one of the most successful investment management teams at one of the largest investment firms in the world. And we provided a valuable service for many of our clients. We held their hand as they neared retirement or as they navigated complex investment issues. But I never felt very comfortable with the value that we provided our clients that came to us purely for investment management. because the fees that they paid us and for the underlying investment products that we used kept them from meeting the returns of even the broad index or the broad market or other advisors. These fees erode the overall value of a portfolio much more than most people know. For example, an investor with $100,000 to invest today that does all the right things to retire with $1.5 million will spend over $350,000 in investment fees. $350,000 to possibly underperform the market. That's crazy. That's crazy. But it's no wonder that investment professionals are among the least trusted profession, just behind car salesmen and politicians. And what's worse is that fee transparency and performance reporting is so bad today that people don't know it. It's the only industry where you can't see what you're paying or what you're getting for that cost versus any other industry available today. I abandoned the investment industry. Excuse me. I abandoned the advisory world and a cushy job, but I did not abandon the investment industry altogether because I know that there's a better way to help the average investor make better investment decisions for the long term. My partner, Jason St. Peter, go ahead and raise your hand, wave to everybody, and I created Harvest as a symbol for change in the investment industry. But we had two main questions. First, why would someone trust us over their financial advisor or versus other online tools? And second, who needs and wants clarity and affordable investment guidance in the industry? Our assumption was that it was mass affluent, those with $100,000 to $1 million of investable assets. This group collectively pays over $30 billion in fees annually and is most overserved and underappreciated by financial advisors. The problem is that this group represents 28 million households in the US, and there's individuals that range in age, goals, and needs for an investment product. So it's hard to target our product and our marketing towards those individuals. So we had to focus. And to do this, we went out and talked to the mass affluent. And we found that there's a group that is more distrusting of financial services than any of the others and has the opportunity to gain from good diversification and low fees today. Mass affluent millennials represent over 5.5 million households in the US. Surprising number of people. And you millennials, you're not lazy, contrary to popular belief. You've saved, and you've worked hard because you know it's your responsibility and you're goal-oriented. You've also made companies like Uber, Mint, and Airbnb successful because you understand the value of sharing and the importance of using new technologies to disrupt long-standing problems. We know a lot about your new buying behaviors. You don't trust professionals, or advertising. You trust your peers and real data. And we're building Harvest for you around 3 key traits that millennials require and that we believe strongly in: simplicity, transparency, and community. First, simplicity, and not just in our mobile-optimized dashboard that shows you your return, your fees, and your allocation in a completely new and simple way, but also simplicity and how easy it is to add new accounts and keep them up to date on a daily basis. Second, transparency. We show you, as an unbiased third party, we show you the details of your return, your fees, and your allocation so that you can take control of your portfolio. And community. Community. We show you these details not compared to an irrelevant benchmark like the S&P 500. We show you these details compared to your peers, the top performing portfolios of your peers within your risk category. I'm aggressive. You may be moderate or conservative. But this information is going to help us realize if we're in the right risk category, and if we are, the right path to take for long-term success. We're currently building the product with local developers here in Austin, and we're targeting a launch in November, mid-November. Go find Jason in the back to see a demonstration of the working prototype and learn more about Harvest. We're driving users to our wait list, and if you've ever considered, have you ever wanted to know more about your investment portfolio and how it may compare against other advisors or other peers, come join our wait list and be among the first users. Because we're targeting millennials, we also can target our communication to these individuals. We're a social investment platform, so we'll use social outlets such as Facebook and Twitter. We'll also target our PR to outlets such as Forbes and Wall Street Journal, but also places like BuzzFeed and Huffington Post, because they're not just for celebrity gossip. We'll also start hosting events to have millennial influencers like many of you out in the audience today. We have an amazing group of advisors, but we're always looking for more, especially around user growth. So if you know anything about digital marketing or user acquisition, please come find us. We want to talk to you. Don't worry, Harvest is coming.
Hi, good evening. My name is John Sharon. I'm here to present my company, Insight. So I'm going to start a little bit about myself. I'm an MBA candidate at the University of Texas McCombs School of Business. And this original business plan came out of the Texas Venture Lab Scholarship Competition, which I won back in February. And I've been working on this business ever since. Before I kind of roll into the business, I want to give a shout first to ATI. This has been a wonderful experience for me. The SEAL program has been great. But also to two of my mentors. The first is Brian Manell, the founder of Mahana, And Brian brought not only the beacon experience of indoor technology, but also kind of a sense of customer service and how that was all supposed to work. And the other mentor I'd like to mention is Bart Bond. And Bart, the founder of Embrace, comes more from a big data and customer service standpoint. And you're going to see, as we roll through, how some of that is kind of played into the business that we came to. I'm going to introduce you to Steve. And Steve could be for any one of the number of companies that we talked to over the summer. Steve is a senior retail marketing executive. And Steve knows a couple of things about his business. He knows that he has to win online, and that's unquestionable. It's something that he has to do. But he also wants to make sure that when he puts money into his physical retail stores, that he's getting that return back and that money is valuable for him. And Steve really likes the digital strategies that he's able to use online, like remarketing, to be able to drive people, not only to the site, but then to get them to come back. Maybe they didn't make a purchase, and Steve can send them an email and then have them, come back to his site and convert more often. So Steve's really excited about that. It drives a lot of value for him, but he can't do that in brick and mortar, and that's the gap that we're filling for Steve. So our market opportunity is that digital is winning. Digital is changing the way that we are looking at retail and marketing. And what Insight does is it helps bridge that gap with the brick and mortar store. So when we came in, we were looking at 3 different potential opportunities of how we can leverage the data that's out there and really bring a really nice product to the retail space. And we looked at retail analytics, we looked at in-store marketing, and we also looked at remarketing, which would be sending people back to the store after they came in. And what we realized from our market validation is that retail analytics and in-store marketing it really isn't a pain for people. Retail analytics, there's a lot of people in that space, but the store managers were telling us that it doesn't really help them to know how many people walk through the store because you can't really reach those people. And then for in-store marketing, we thought, hey, this is a really technologically savvy way to approach the store. But when we talked to store managers, we actually found that it's more of a negative. So people are saying that it actually hurts the customer experience that they're trying to create in the store. And what we came to and what we realized is that what we really cared about wasn't the fact that people were in the store and interacting. What we really cared about is just the fact that they came into the store in the first place. And just the fact that we know that data, we can capture that data, lets us do some really interesting digital strategies and marketing strategies to reach those customers, have them come back into the store, and have them convert more often. And when you look at the online context, the numbers are just huge. So we're looking at, on the left-hand side, what you'd have before remarketing strategies, and on the right-hand side, you see what happens when you put them in place. And not only do you see higher conversion, which is great for marketing managers and for store managers, but you're also seeing the cost that marketing managers are going to have to pay go way down. So it's a win-win on both sides. And when we started looking at this for online from a market standpoint, we're looking at about a $1.2 billion of budget that's being spent on remarketing today. But when you're able to bring that into the brick and mortar space, which is that much larger than online commerce, you're looking at a $17 billion opportunity of retailers and marketers that are going to be able to leverage the technology that we're bringing to market. So I'm going to walk through a little bit about what the product that we're envisioning and that we're working on. So imagine that you're walking into your favorite retailer, you're walking into REI, and when you walk in, you're going to have one of our apps on your phone, and we're going to have a network of apps that's going to capture data. So it could be one, it could be a couple, and we're going to be able to capture the fact that you came into the store, that you visited, and then you left. And then we can take that data and give it back to REI and give that back to the marketing manager. And now that marketing manager can then go and send an offer, can send you a deal, can send you some type of message thanking you for coming in. Really, the possibilities are endless. And it really doesn't matter. You could send deals, special events, re-engagements. The main thing to keep in mind here is that marketers know how to talk to their customers, and we don't want to get in the way of that. What we want to do is give them the data and the connection to those customers that they've never had before, and that's going to be the next big thing in digital marketing. So how can you help us? There are really 2 things that we're looking for as we're just kind of getting started. One is we're looking for people to join the team. So if this is something that's interesting to you and it's something that you want to get involved with, come talk to me, reach out to me, try to get my contact information, and let's talk more about what opportunities are out there. We're also looking for advisors who have an experience within the retail space to be able to help us really bring this to retail customers and have an understanding about the retail marketing space in general. And the other is, introduce us. So we're looking for two groups of people to really talk to and to continue working on the idea and continue selling the idea. The first is we're talking to in-house marketing teams, and the second is that we're talking to contacts at agencies who are selling into those retail marketers. So again, I want to thank you for this. This has been a really tremendous opportunity. I want to thank the ATI SEAL program. There have been too many people that I have worked with to thank, but you all know who you are. And again, it's been a wonderful summer. Thank you very much.
Good evening, everybody. I want to thank you all for coming out, for tuning in tonight, and for staying to see the last presentation. My name is Charlie Leonard. I'm the founder and CEO of Scalar Security. We're creating defense intelligence to enable clarity and simplicity in cybersecurity. This concept has its roots in an experience that I had in my previous career before I came to business school, when I was a manager at a boutique media and advertising agency. We were a small firm, maybe 30 employees, but successful. But like a lot of firms that size, the primary focus was on getting work out the door and bringing in new clients. And quite frankly, cybersecurity was the least of our concerns, because really, we're a small business, and who cares about us? who wants to pick on us. And that was the prevailing attitude until the day that somebody wanted to pick on us, and we were hacked. It was a pretty unpleasant experience. It was harmful to the business. It was frustrating to the employees, and it left me with the conviction that there has to be a better way. And so I came back to business school with the goal of, in my free time, investigating data breach and figuring out what is this, and how do people think about it, and most of all, what's being done to protect against it. And so it wasn't surprising to find that you think about an attack in terms of an actor, an action, and an asset. So who did it, what did they do, and how did they do it, and what did they do it to? And all too often, unfortunately, we're looking at this after the fact, retroactively trying to piece things back together, and we realize that this costs us up to $190 per record of data lost. And also, even more unfortunately, it would have cost orders of magnitude less to protect against it, to insure against it. So it begs some soul searching and some inward looking. What could we have done? Were we protected? How could we have made this better? And so we look inside the organization and we see two distinct operational layers. One is the CEO, and we're familiar with this role. It's a long-term, big decision, strategic role focused on the health of the enterprise. And one of the many things under the CEO's purview is to ensure that cybersecurity is taken care of and that box is checked. And so there's a role within the organization, typically the chief security officer, chief info security officer, or sometimes just the IT guy, the person who knew the most about computers when we realized that we needed some cybersecurity solutions. And that person's job is to deal with this incredibly ambiguous, complex environment where it's overwhelmed with threats coming in not only from the outside, but from the inside. And there's a number of tools you can put in place. You have hardware and software like malware defenses and firewalls, but then when you do that, you have to build rules around those. How do you use them? You have to configure them properly, and then you have to build policies for your workforce, and then you have to make sure that those policies are properly implemented and followed. And this whole job is tremendous, and it's too much, and too often it gets put together ad hoc. As you need a solution, you put it in, and so you end up with gaps, blind spots, and uncertainty, and as you see here, risk. And that's where I was in my organization, stuck in between a strategic CEO and a tactical IT guy. I couldn't talk up and I couldn't talk down. We want to create defense intelligence to enable clarity and simplicity in cybersecurity. So we built a diagnostic tool, a simple, intuitive assessment that takes a look at your security systems, both hardware and software and policies, and allows a CEO and a CSO to knit together those strategic and those tactical concerns, put them all on one page so that you can evaluate enterprise risk and network risk as though they're the same thing, because they are. So you put this risk into a distribution where you can make informed, intelligent decisions about solutions. And those solutions are hardware and software solutions, consultants who can come in and help you design an effective security policy, and insurance agents who can provide a financial backstop to the risk that you're not able to manage or mitigate. And so those are our customers. Those software and hardware vendors, those consultants who build holistic security programs, and those insurance agents who backfill the risk that's left. We white label this assessment and give it to those professionals so that they can discover and prioritize areas of most acute risk within their clients' networks and systems, and initiate client engagements based on those identifications so that they can make intelligent, actionable recommendations to mitigate, manage, and insure against risk. This is the market we're looking at. These three segments that I've talked about together collectively spend $1.7 billion a year on marketing. And this is a marketing tool. This is something that aligns well with the activities that they're already engaged in, which is thought leadership and creating content to help people understand these problems, to simplify them and provide clarity. That's what we're doing with defense intelligence. It's helping them go to market. But that's not all that it is. And we're actually more excited about this market, because when we deploy this tool and we start building defense intelligence and aggregating it, we're able to take a look at the risk landscape that's never been seen before. Because insurance companies who write policies against cyber liability, they know a lot about the bad actors and the threats that are coming in externally. But by and large, they don't know what's happening within their portfolio in terms of the defenses that their clients have built. We're allowing insurance companies to price their portfolio risk based on real defensive data. We spent this summer in SEAL validating this market, talking to professionals, over 100 professionals in hardware and software vendors, consultancies, and insurance agents, who told us that not only is there a need in this area, but the tremendous value would be delivered if we were able to deploy this tool to them. And so what we need from you, the audience, is for people to reach out to us, test our demo, to work with it and determine what's good and what's not good, so that we can pass those recommendations on to software developers, who we also want to talk to as soon as possible, and help explain to us how we need to take this from a demo to an MVP. And we want to talk to sales managers, executives with P&L responsibilities within our customer organizations, to help us determine value metrics and the price points that we need to be shooting for. We need you to help us create defense intelligence. We are Scalar Security. Thank you very much.